Oh, that's a fucking wreck. Jesus Christ.
Alright guys, SC Village, the 2025 Airsoft Appreciation Event. Guys, this is Bear with Vegas Airsoft. How you guys doing tonight? I am so frustrated with myself because my helmet camera, I put a brand new 256 gigabyte, memory card in it. For whatever reason, it wasn't formatted properly, so I only really got about 9 minutes to 10 minutes worth of footage for you guys. And this is the second round that I played in. And it is a team deathmatch / capture the flag kind of an objective. We have one player who has a flag that needs to basically make it into their spawn, grab whatever item or piece of documents that he needs, and return back to our spawn with our flag point. I'm using the SR25 from SEMA that you guys have been seeing me kind of show off and kind of hint at through the reels over the last couple of weeks leading up to this event. But guys, let me tell you this. Yesterday it was 93 degrees with a 65% humidity, and my goodness gracious, I have to give my hats off to anybody who plays in an outdoor mil-sim event. For me, I realized that my physical conditioning was very lackluster through all of this. This heat really drew a lot of my energy out of my body, which unfortunately led me to have a lot of sit-down times, but in this particular round, I felt really refreshed and I tried to hard charge. And it really challenged what we typically do on this channel. Everything that we typically do, we're close quarter combat channel. We're pushing and kicking doors. This is really opening up the box and really pulling out a lot of our skill sets, from prior service military. And being a designated marksman for the platoon, figuring out how you can best be a support element rather than an attack element or an assault element. And so I start working with some of my guys here. I don't know these guys, but for the most part, this mil-sim event was absolutely fantastic with them being able to communicate and express what it is that they needed from me, and also coordinate where I would be most efficient with my long gun. Now, I will say, guys, I also have another appreciation about how much goes into preparing for a mil-sim event. The rifle that I had, the Mark 18, unfortunately was shooting a little too spicy in order to be able to use in the match, so I was really restricted to being able to use the SR25. But for me, I felt that I would really embrace that challenge. Again, shooting outdoor weight babies, .32s as opposed to indoors when I'm shooting .25s, they fall off at distance very quickly, and especially if, your spring's not up to par. And that's the thing is we kind of built the SR25 for more of like an indoor setup, I guess, with the spring, because back here at home at Battle Labs, that rifle is shooting 374 at .25. Out here at Corona, with .32s, was shooting 314. So that really shows you there's a lot of drop off there. Environmental elements, wind, all that type of stuff really puts a damper on your distance. But then again, I didn't really understand the rule of ends, because they said the max that you could have for a marksman or a sniper rifle is 450 feet per second with 1.16 joules. And again, spitting a lot of gibberish here, but that's pretty hot and spicy shooting rifle, but that's only the bolt action spring rifles. So finding that middle ground to an FPS for a designated marksman rifle was extremely difficult prior to coming to this event. Also, I have a newfound respect for people that go out as a team or as a group to these big events. If we didn't have Tony and Caden really leading the way and taking care of some of the support items that we needed, I don't know what we would have done, guys. At one point I almost fell into the heat exhaustion category, and if Tony didn't have his water mister and his water bucket and the tarp or the overhead canopy behind his truck, guys, I would have been in really bad shape. Like, if I attended this event solo, it really makes me open my eyes to that this is something that you need to prepare for, not just a week in advance, but probably a couple weeks in advance, to ensure that you've got everything that you absolutely need in order to fight any adverse circumstance. But guys, I have to give a lot of love and a lot of respect to SC Village. This is hands down the mecca of paintball, like what I did when I was doing my research. And the airsoft fields too. One of the main fields was 10 acres, guys. And they could have done the parking and stuff like that a little bit differently. It was a little disorganized. Towards the end of the day, it was definitely a little bit difficult when everybody was deciding to leave. but everybody was just so heat saturated and overheated. I think the last game of the day we were at like 97 degrees with like 80% humidity. So that gives you a really clear indication of just how hot it is. And our team, we were playing for Jet Desert Fox. You know, I'm running an AOR1 full digital desert uniform, and you're running a plate carrier, you're running a bunch of extra weight, you're running a hydration bladder. It adds up pretty quickly, guys. So it gives me a much, better perspective as to what to expect next time stepping into an event, and to push through, really push through and continue to try and stay in the fight. Because all the things that I preach in CQB, and this is again a self-reflection inward of myself, your conditioning defines the ability for you to be able to support your team and be a positive contributing factor to the environment. So again, guys, this was me dipping my toe into the pool of Milsim. So I'm pretty excited to see what's coming forward. I think the next event I'm going to try and attend is Operation Flamingo here in Vegas, because it is an indoor event, it is air conditioned, and for me, I feel like that's probably a little closer kind of transitioning point for me stepping into a larger Milsim event. But I will say, they had food trucks on site, they had a shaved ice truck on site. They were extremely attentive to all the players. They had a really good medic tent set up. They could have done a little bit better as far as the chronographing area and, getting registered and everything like that. A little bit more clear and concise kind of constructions on how we move through the process, because I think that's what delayed the first game and the kind of the events thereafter. And they gave us about an hour between rounds, guys. So in my mind, at Battle Labs, I'm used to 5 minutes, top off, reload, and make ready. And here, you kind of lost track of time, if I'm going to be honest. There was like 10 to 12 of us in a group playing today. And, we were, talking, jib-jabbing, cooling down, eating, hydrating. And then, all of a sudden, guys, we're loading in 10 minutes. Well, you haven't topped off your mags, you haven't checked your batteries, you haven't checked your optics. Made sure your gear's all ready to rock and roll. And a lot of the guys on the team are definitely feeling this weather. You can see Oni at some point puts down his sniper rifle and just goes to a pistol. And during this match, I end up running dry, like completely dry. And I poach his M40 that he has, and I try and get a couple of kills with that. I think, again, I'm getting like 1 or 2. Anyways, guys, this was just such a wonderful event, such a positive team building experience for me, working in large groups and bringing my life, my lifetime of experience and applying it to the battlefield here at SC Village. So if you guys have any questions for me about the event or how it transpired, or is this a place that you should attend, I think you should. I really do. I think probably in the wintertime, it's probably a wonderful venue to actually come out and support. And I think that it would be a wonderful, large style field for you to come out and play. And for me, I took so much away from this event. So many new friends made. And, again, Tony and Caden, thank you guys again so much for taking all the time to really ensure that not only myself, but you guys were on point to be able to attend this event and maximize the amount of fun that we had. So guys, this is Bear with Vegas Airsoft. I really appreciate you guys taking the time out of your day to watch this video. And if you made it this far, you guys are a real one. So anyhow, take care. We'll talk to you soon. Bear with Vegas Airsoft. Out.